All right, welcome to this training section where we are going to be walking you through how to actually book appointments on your scheduler, on your booking calendar automatically. Okay, so we're going to divide this training up, and what's going to happen is that in this training, we're going to be talking about how to book appointments automatically, like I said, and then in the next training section or in another training section, we're going to talk about how to book appointments manually. So how to actually manually on your side book appointments with clients, prospects, leads, XYZ, right? So in this specific training section, we're going to talk about how it happens automatically. So that way from the client side, from the lead side, from the prospect side, how they can actually go ahead and book appointments on their end, right? So we're going to go ahead and talk about that. And there are multiple ways that this can actually happen. Specifically, there are two methods, okay? The first method is you can actually go ahead and send a link to a calendar to a prospect, a customer, a client, XYZ. And then method number two is by embedding that calendar into a funnel or into a website. And I'm going to walk you through both of those very quickly right now. Okay, so method number one is sending the link to the calendar. Now, this is actually one of probably the most popular ways to get an appointment scheduled is by sending that link to a prospect or a lead so that way they can book an appointment. Okay, so let's talk about how this actually happens. What you do is you go over to ClientKit, you go over to calendar settings, or you can go over to settings and then calendars from there. And then what you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and find the booking calendar or the specific scheduler that you want the link to be able to go ahead and see what that looks like. Now, this is going to be helpful for you as well to test out what it looks like on the client or on the prospect side. So that way it's very clear. You can kind of make sure that that's looking good. What you do is you click on these three dots over here, you click on share, and then you're going to go ahead and see that you have a scheduling link and you have a permanent link. What is the difference between these two? So the scheduling link, this is like the nice cleaned up version. This is the version that has, whatever, one-on-one and NutriFit, right? But the thing is that this slug, this is what they call it, a slug in the domain name right here, right? So the slug in the actual URL, that can actually change, right? Because if you go over here into edit, and then you go into scroll down, you'll see on here the custom URL. If you went ahead and changed this, the problem would be that this right here would also then change within this right over here. And then that's why there is something called a permanent link. And so the permanent link is that no matter if you change the URL slug where I just showed you it was earlier, this permanent link is always going to stay the same, whereas the scheduling link would change. And so this right here is good if you want to just go ahead and, you're sending it off as maybe a, here and there one-off. But if you're like, you know what, I want to actually use this permanent link, maybe in automation, maybe in a email, maybe in SMS, maybe on a funnel, maybe on a website redirect, on an ad, then typically what you want to do is you want to use the permanent link. So that's the difference between scheduling link and permanent link. Okay, so those are just different use cases. Again, just planting seeds if you ever need that use case. Okay, now one-time links, it says over here, one-time links are allowing you to share your availability with a unique link as a one-time thing, right? So you can click on generate new link and it'll generate a new link every single time. So this is going to be good for, let's say you don't want this person that you're about to send this link to be able to book a second appointment with you. You only want them to be able to book one appointment with you. You can actually go ahead and generate a one-time link there. And then there is an embed code. So if you wanted to go ahead and embed this into, let's say, for example, on a website or a funnel, if you were using a different platform, however, because this is an all-in-one platform, you don't actually need this embed code here. We're going to walk you through how to be able to go ahead and embed calendars easily within ClientKit. Okay, so for right now, I want to go ahead and walk you through, let's just say hypothetically, we go ahead and copy this permanent link, and then you can go ahead and open up a new tab, paste that permanent link in there and see what your actual calendar is going to look like. Now, sometimes if you don't want to open up in the exact same browser, what you can do is click on the three dots in Google Chrome, go over to a new incognito window. And an incognito window, if you don't know what that means, it basically means that it doesn't have you logged in. So that way it's kind of like a fresh new instance. And you can go ahead and paste it there if you wanted to see what that would look like really, really fresh. Like this is exactly how somebody who has never clicked on this link before would see it without any cached data or anything like that, okay? So that, ladies and gentlemen, is the first way that I wanted to go ahead and show you of how you can actually automatically book appointments is by sending a link to a calendar. And of course, if you had multiple calendars on here, you could go ahead and select all of the different links. You could go ahead and select, a different link on here and share it that way as well. The second method that I want to go ahead and show you on how you can get booked appointments automatically is going to be by embedding a calendar. Okay, so let me walk you through how this is going to work. If I go back and let's say, for example, I go over to sites and let's just say hypothetically I had, you know what, I'm just going to go ahead and make a new funnel here real quick. Okay, so you'll see how easy and quickly it is to make a funnel here. I'm just going to go over here. I don't know, just a random funnel. Let's just find wellness spa. I'm going to go ahead and select this one. I'm going to click on continue. Let this load up in here. And so I'm going to walk you through what this looks like on an example funnel here, right? So I'm going to go ahead and refresh real quick because sometimes when you load a funnel, it needs to refresh. And then let's just say hypothetically, I'm going to go ahead and go into this funnel here. And then let's just say, for example, I wanted to go ahead and embed that calendar that I have created right over here. So in this case, I don't want a survey. I'm going to actually go ahead and add an element. And then here we can actually go ahead and type in calendars, right? So calendars is an element type, calendar. And then it actually lets me, because remember, it's an all-in-one business platform. It's a system. It all works together, right? From here, you can actually then select the calendar that you have created in the calendar section. How cool is that, right? So you go ahead and click on that. And boom shakalaka, just like that, look how cool that is. It now has actually embedded the calendar into the actual page, right? And you can do this on websites, you can do this on funnels, you can do this on any page that is out there. And then you can go ahead and hit save. In this case, because this is just an example, I'm just gonna go ahead and hit save again. And then I can go to preview and you'll see right now it's going to go ahead and generate a preview. I haven't put this on a domain name or anything. This is kind of just a random preview on a random site. But you'll see just like that, we now actually have the calendar from our calendars embedded now on a site. And now, of course, if I wanted to, I could go ahead and actually put this on the domain name, and then I could very easily go ahead and create a custom page and send people to that custom page, and they could actually book appointments with me that way. Of course, this exact same thing also applies on the website side of things, right? So let's just say hypothetically, let me just go over to a random page here. I'm going to go over to our website. Again, this is just completely random. Do not do this. I'm just kind of randomly putting calendars all over the place just to show you how this would look. But let's say, for example, right in the smack dab at the very top, I'm like, you know what? I want to throw a calendar on here, right? For whatever reason, I go ahead and hit that plus button. I type in calendar over here, put a calendar there, select the calendar there, and then you'll see, boom, just like that, I have the calendar. I can go ahead and hit preview, and then you'll see it's going to save in just a second, and then it's going to go ahead and load the actual page, and the calendar is going to be embedded right over there, right? So it's very cool. You can literally go ahead and create embedded calendars wherever you would like. Of course, you want to be strategic about that. In this case, I am going to go ahead and delete, and then hit save again because I don't want to have a calendar right at the top. But that's what I wanted to go ahead and show you, is that is another way that you can automatically get appointments booked on your calendar from clients, from prospects. And these are different ways. We're just exposing you to the different tools that are out there. Now, the answer is, hey, question is, what method should you actually use? Well, guess what? Each of the methods that we shared with you are going to have a different use case. So depending on what you're trying to do, you might use different ways, but it is very important for you to be well-versed and understand as many different ways as possible, because it's kind of like having a Swiss Army knife. The more you're exposed to how the business platform works, the more you know of the possibilities that the platform is capable of, the more that is going to allow you to go out there and actually build in ways that doesn't limit you, so you can go out there and really do what it is that you want with your business. Okay, so next up, what you want to do is you want to make sure that you have followed along with us here, kind of explore inside of the business platform yourself. What you want to do is you want to test this with yourself. Okay, so what you're going to do, this is your action step for this training section, is you are going to go ahead and test both of the methods of booking an appointment. Okay, so I'm going to walk you through exactly what this looks like. You go over to calendars. You're going to go ahead and grab over either the scheduling link or the permanent link, okay? I'm going to go ahead and open this up in an incognito window, and I'm actually going to go ahead and book an appointment. So let's just say here on the 21st, which is the Wednesday, I'm going to go ahead and book an appointment. Let's just make this David John, I don't know, right here, okay? Phone number, we're going to go ahead and put a phone number on here. Okay, from there, we're going to go ahead and put David John at gmail.com. I don't know if there is a David John at gmail.com. We're going to find out. And then over here, schedule meeting. Okay, so it says invalid phone number because ClientKit is smart and actually knows that wasn't an actual phone number. So let's just see if I can put in a different random phone number, but a little bit more realistic. Boom, just like that. Okay, so it's going to schedule a meeting. You'll see this is what it actually looks like. Now over here, you'll see, thank you for your appointment request. We will contact you shortly to confirm your request. Please call our office. Now I'm like, you know what? I don't like this, right? So what I'm going to do, and this is exactly why you test, is I'm going to go ahead and edit that. So I'm going to go over here to edit. I'm then going to come over here to notifications and additional options. Wait, it's not notifications and additional options. It's going to be forms and payments. Here we go. And then right over here, it says confirmation page, right? And the confirmation page, thank you for your appointment request. We will contact you shortly. Contact method if you have any questions. I don't like that. Instead, what I'm going to do is, thank you for your appointment. Your appointment has been confirmed, right? Appointment has been confirmed, right? Or something like that, right? You can go ahead and put a message there. I'm gonna go ahead and hit save. And then you're gonna see if I go ahead and now go back, and if I go ahead and book another appointment, it is going to actually go ahead and change that. So I got to do David, John, and then this was, I don't know the exact phone number I put. So we're gonna find out. Okay, and then davidjohn@gmail.com. Right here, schedule meeting. You'll see that's going to give me a different message now because I've gone ahead and saved over there. You'll see it didn't actually give me a different message. I created like 3 appointments. Reason is because I believe we have to actually refresh. So let me refresh and try this one more time. Man, we're going to have David John is going to have so many different appointments. David John is in the system for days. He is going to be here. Oopsie daisies. I wasn't even typing. Here we go. Put it over here. There we go. And then davidjohn@gmail.com. Confirm, schedule meeting. And then hopefully this time around, fingers crossed, there we go. Thank you for your appointment. Your appointment has been confirmed. Okay, now we're going to do a couple things now that we've tested this method. First and foremost, I'm going to go back over here and go to the calendars tab, and I'm going to see, hey, guess what? David John's appointment is located there, and there's 3 David John appointments. Okay, so I checked over here. Awesome. And then of course you can go ahead and edit all appointments and that kind of stuff here. The other place I'm going to check this is I am going to go over into Google Calendar, and you'll see, boom shakalaka, David John's appointments have come over here into our Google Calendar as well. And this is cool because now it's with all of our other appointments, right? Let's say, for example, we had kids practice, we had, date night with the spouse, the partner, whatever it might be. And now it's all showing everywhere inside of your central calendar. The other place that I can go ahead and confirm this is I can go over to contacts. You'll see I probably have like a bunch of David Johns in the system, right? I got 2 David Johns here because apparently I must have gotten the phone numbers correct the same time. And then over here, if I go ahead and click into actually one of the contacts, obviously, this was just a test one. I can go over here to appointment, and I can see that inside of the actual appointment, there is the appointment right there. Now, we're going to talk to you about how to cancel appointments, how to reschedule appointments, how to be able to go ahead and really do all of that in an upcoming training section. But I just wanted you to kind of get familiar around, hey, this is where all of the different places that I can find the appointment is. And it's really cool to see how the system actually comes together, right? So that's going to be one way that you can test it. Make sure, please, you do not want to be one of those students who is a failure uniform business owner, who's a wantrepreneur, who just watches and educates himself, but then they don't actually do any of the reps. Okay, so you want to make sure you go through and test all of that. Very importantly, the other method that you can also go ahead and test is you can go in and test putting a calendar somewhere, right? So you want to go out there for an action step, maybe go over to the website if you really want to, right? You can go over to your website, you can go ahead and edit the website there. And then what you can do, since your website is probably going to be on your domain name, it's going to be pretty cool for you to test this out. You could go and add a calendar on your homepage, but if you don't want to mess with that, you're like, I don't want to mess with that too much. What you could do is you could also go ahead and add a new page, and you could just go, hey, you know what, calendar test right here. And then you could make this on calendar test on your domain. You could create a new page here. And then because this is going to be on your domain name, you could actually go ahead and right here, edit in a new tab. It's going to be a completely blank page. And then you can come over here and you can just go ahead and make this full width. You can add a row, you can add an element, come over here and add a calendar just like that. Add the calendar there, save, beautiful, awesome. And then I'm going to go ahead and check settings. This is on my domain. And then I can come over here to settings over here. It's on calendar test. Beautiful. And then from here, I can go ahead and click on a preview link, and you'll see just like that, it does actually show up on our domain because this is the actual page with the calendar that is embedded on it, right? So we got nutrifitwellness.com/calendar test. And then right over here, I can go ahead and say, hey, you know what? If I want to go ahead and book an appointment from here, that is how I can do it from there. And so it's very important that this is a skill that you learn, that you actually go out, pause this training video, and actually actually go out and do this. Like, hey, send a link to yourself, book an appointment, see how it shows up in the calendar tab inside of ClientKit, book an appointment, see how it shows up inside of Google Calendar on your central calendar, right? That's the reason why we walked you through this step by step for this entire setup. So that way, as the system is coming together, you're understanding the overarching strategy and you're unlocking in your mind the ability to use these tools in ways that are going to allow you to go ahead and customize and really allow you to do whatever you want with your business, as long as you're developing these skills of like, hey, you know what? I want to go ahead and have a calendar on a web page. How does that work? This is how it works. And so in the same way that if somebody was trying to learn how to bench press or deadlift and they just watched a bunch of YouTube videos about it for hours and hours and hours, and they had the knowledge on it, but they never actually did any reps, then at that point, they wouldn't have the skill, right? And so in the same way, if you want to be able to go ahead and unlock the skill of how to be able to do this, it's not going to happen by you sitting around and just listening to me and walking us through this, right? You have to go out there and get the knowledge, yes, but then you got to do the reps. Only then are you going to be able to master this. Now, a couple quick points around this as well, okay? So if you do notice that your availability on this is not 100%, it's probably going to be like 60 to 70 to 80%, but you're like, you know what? I want to go ahead and really fine tune this availability. What is the best system, the best approach, the best strategy to fine tune this availability? Yes, it's connected to your Google Calendar, so that way all of this is going to be synced there, but we're going to be walking you through in an upcoming training section on how to further fine tune your availability on your booking calendar. The other thing that I want to go ahead and say here is that if ClientKit tries to send out SMS text messages or email reminders for these test appointments, do not worry about that right now. It may or may not work for you right now, because what we're going to do in an upcoming training section is walk you through how to set up the automated workflows and the automated text messages and the automated emails. That is going to be a whole separate training. For right now and for the purposes of this test that you're going to be doing, all you need to focus on is, hey, does the actual calendar system work, right? The actual calendar events. You want to make sure that you go in and do the share link, the permanent link. You want to go ahead and check the embed. You want to go ahead and check all of that first. And then all the other systems, we're going to go ahead and walk you through how to set that up in later trainings. I hope that makes sense, ladies and gentlemen. This has been this specific training section on the 2 methods of how to actually go ahead and book automatic appointments. Now, is this the end all be all, or is this all of the automatic book appointment methods? Of course not. This is just what we have thus far, but that's where most of the learning, the most up-to-date learning is going to be happening inside of the community as more and more community members find different ways to be able to do these things. As we find different ways to be able to do these things, we're going to be sharing that inside of the community. And then if you find different things, make sure you're sharing that in the community as well. But for right now, this is a very good primer. This is a very good foundation for you to get started on how to book automatic appointments. And then next up, we're also going to talk about how to book appointments manually from inside of the CRM system. We're not done yet. We will catch you on the next training section.